All right, strap in, everyone. We're going deep today. You guys sent in a bunch of sources, and I gotta say, I'm pretty excited about this one. We've got excerpts from a book called Financial Freedom and like snippets from other personal finance and self-help books, right? So basically, we're on a mission to crack the code of financial well-being. We're going to pick out the good stuff, the core principles, and see how we can actually use this stuff, in real life.
And honestly, I think you're going to find these sources, they've got this like really cool mix of advice and concepts that kind of make you think. Like right off the bat, Financial Freedom starts with this story about a guy who spends his whole life building a cathedral all by himself, brick by brick.
Hold on, building a cathedral. How does that, relate to money?
It's kind of like a powerful metaphor, you know? It shows how you need patience and long-term vision to build something solid, financially speaking. Like building a cathedral, it's not a quick fix. Financial freedom, same thing. It's about making the right choices consistently over time.
Okay, yeah, I get it. It's like a slow and steady kind of thing. So let's jump in. One of the first things that caught my eye was this whole financial illiteracy thing. The book says it can really mess things up for people.
Yeah, it's like the book defines financial illiteracy as basically not knowing how to handle your money. But it's deeper than just like balancing your checkbook. It's about getting concepts like investing, dealing with debt, even how stuff like inflation affects us.
Right, if you don't get the rules, how can you play the game? But why is all this financial literacy stuff even more important now?
Well, there are a bunch of things happening in society that make it super crucial, like right now. Like the job market's all over the place, the middle class is shrinking, and all these financial products are just getting more and more confusing.
It's like we're supposed to figure out this maze with, like, a blindfold on. And the book connects this whole lack of financial know-how to what it calls the rat race.
The rat race, yeah. It's that cycle where you're working your butt off just to stay afloat. You're always chasing a paycheck, barely keeping up with bills, and never really getting ahead.
Ugh, I think we've all felt that, being stuck on that financial treadmill.
Yeah.
So how do we get off? The book says we got to understand what money really is, right?
Yeah, it's all about seeing money for what it is. A tool. It's not good or bad by itself. It's all about how you use it.
It's like a hammer. You can build with it or smash stuff.
Exactly. The book also says money can be an accelerator. Like it can speed up how fast you reach your goals. Invest in your education, start a business, maybe travel the world, all that stuff.
Okay, so money can open doors, create opportunities. Got it. But what's this whole amplifier thing the book mentions?
The idea is that money, it magnifies whatever qualities you already have, good or bad. If you're a generous person, more money might mean you can give more. But if you're greedy,
Yeah.
well, let's just say things could get messy.
Heavy stuff. It's not just about stacking cash. It's about having the right attitude and values to go with it.
Exactly. And, speaking of mindset, the book tackles some common money myths that hold people back.
Oh yeah, those myths. I'm sure we've all bumped into a few. Like, what are some of them?
One big one is that rich people are bad, It comes from that scarcity mindset, like there's only so much wealth to go around, and if someone else has it, it means less for me.
Yeah, I get it. It's that, jealousy thing instead of focusing on your own path.
Right. Another one is that a college degree equals financial security. Education is super important, don't get me wrong, but it's not a guarantee for financial success these days.
True. The job market's totally different now. So we got to challenge these old ideas we have about money and success, right?
Totally. The book pushes for an abundance mindset instead of all that scarcity stuff.
Okay, what does that even mean? What's an abundance mindset?
It's believing there's plenty of opportunity and resources out there for everyone. It's being generous, working together, and being willing to take smart risks.
I can see how that change in thinking would make a huge difference in how we deal with money. Instead of feeling limited, you see, all these possibilities.
Exactly. It's like that monkey trap story the book uses. Have you ever heard it?
I don't think so. What's that about?
Picture a monkey, hand stuck in a jar because it's holding on to food inside. It's so focused on holding on that it can't see how to get free.
That's pretty deep. So the monkey, it's like someone with that scarcity mindset, right? Clinging to what they have out of fear, missing out on the bigger picture.
Right on. The monkey track story shows how important it is to let go of those limiting beliefs and embrace abundance. That's how you really unlock financial freedom.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so moving on, the book digs into how our emotions mess with our money. It talks about fear, envy, criticism, and resentment. How do these emotions, sabotage our financial success?
Fear It can make you freeze up, stop you from doing anything, investing, starting a business, even asking for a raise. Envy makes you focus on what others have, and then you feel bad about yourself. Criticism and resentment, they just drain your energy and keep you from creating a good financial situation for yourself.
So we need to get our heads and our hearts straight when it comes to money, right?
Yeah.
Any advice on how to beat these negative feelings?
The book has some good tips. For fear, it says you gotta face your money anxieties head on. Don't avoid thinking about your finances. Learn about it, understand the risks, and start taking small steps towards your goals.
So knowledge is the antidote to financial fear.
Yeah. For envy, it says practice gratitude. Focus on your own journey. Be happy for others' success without letting it bring you down.
It's like that saying, stay in your lane. What about criticism and resentment?
Forgiveness is key. Forgive yourself for past money mistakes and let go of any bitterness you have about people who've wronged you financially. Hanging on to that stuff just keeps you stuck.
It's like carrying around dead weight.
Mm.
Let it go and make space for abundance.
Exactly. And, building on that whole self-awareness thing, the book talks about these 4 energies of financial well-being. Have you heard of this?
4 energies. Nope. Fill me in.
It talks about physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual energy and how they're all connected to your financial decisions.
So it's not enough to just know stuff about money. You got to have the energy and like the vitality to actually manage it well.
Yeah, if you're constantly wiped out physically, it's harder to make smart choices with your money.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about your stocks when you're exhausted.
Yeah.
What does the book say about boosting our physical energy?
It has some pretty simple stuff like going vegetarian, being mindful of what you eat, and getting enough rest.
Wait, so eating well, paying attention to your food, and sleeping enough can actually help you make better money decisions.
Think about it. When you're energized and healthy, you're more focused, you can think clearer, and that's what you need to manage your money well.
It's like you can't pour from an empty cup. You got to take care of yourself first. Okay, what about mental energy? How's that connected to money?
The author says too much news and social media can really drain your mental energy.
Tell me about it. Sometimes I feel like I'm drowning in information.
Right. So the book suggests cutting back on that stuff and doing things that clear your head, like meditation, journaling, or just being in nature.
It's like hitting the reset button for your brain.
Exactly. And when you're grounded and your mind is clear, you can make those conscious money choices that actually match your values and goals.
So it's all connected. Your body, your emotions, how clear your mind is. It all affects how you handle your money. What about spiritual energy? How does that fit in?
This is where the book gets really interesting. It says connecting to your spiritual side, whatever that means to you, can give you a sense of purpose that goes beyond material stuff.
So it's like finding a deeper meaning behind your financial goals. That purpose drives you to build a life of abundance, not just like chasing money.
Exactly. It's about making your financial actions match your values and creating a life that feels both prosperous and purposeful.
Okay, I'm digging this. We've covered financial literacy, busted some myths, talked about mastering our emotions, and now these 4 energies. What's next on our quest for financial freedom?
Well, now the book gets into conscious spending and earning. It's all about using your money as a tool to create the life you want, and making sure your financial choices match up with your values.
Okay, this is where the rubber meets the road, right? Let's get practical.
Yeah, for sure. The book has this idea that every euro you spend is like a vote for the kind of world you want to live in.
Whoa, that's a powerful way to think about it.
Right. It's about being mindful of where your money goes and supporting businesses and causes that you actually believe in.
So it's not just about saving money. It's about making sure your spending reflects what you believe in and helps create the world you want to see.
Right. And when it comes to earning money, the book says it's got to be about more than just a paycheck.
It's about finding work that lights you up, something that aligns with your passions and allows you to make a difference, right?
Exactly. It's about recognizing that when you're living a life of purpose and giving back, financial abundance can be a natural result.
I'm really loving that message. It's about a life that's both financially and personally fulfilling.
Totally. Now, building on that, the book talks about the power of systems. It's about setting things up so they generate income instead of just trading your time for money all the time.
Okay, this sounds intriguing. Tell me more about these systems.
It's about moving from active income, where you're always working for every euro, to a more passive approach. It's like creating systems that make money even when you're sleeping.
Now that's the dream. But how do you actually create these systems?
Well, the book has this simple example of making a website that sells a single digital product. You put in the work up front, but once it's set up, it can potentially bring in money passively, like 2 on 4/7.
That is powerful. It's like using technology to create assets that work for you nonstop. Are there other types of these income-generating systems?
Tons. You can create online courses, write ebooks, invest in stocks that pay dividends. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
So it's about finding a system that matches your skills and interests and what you've got to work with.
Exactly. And the book says, try different things out, experiment, and see what works best for you.
This whole system thing seems connected to another big idea the book brings up. Assets versus liabilities.
Totally. Getting this difference is like financial literacy 101.
Okay, refresh my memory. What exactly are assets and liabilities?
Simple terms. Assets, put money in your pocket. Liabilities, take it out.
Give me some real-world examples.
Okay, a car, it's usually a liability, right? Costs money to maintain, insure, and all that. But stocks that pay dividends, those are assets. They're bringing in money.
Ah, okay. So the goal is to have more things that make money for you and less stuff that drains your account.
You got it. And the book talks about this flow before luxury principle.
Flow before luxury, huh? What's that all about?
It's about building up your income streams before you go buy all the fancy stuff. So instead of that expensive car right away, focus on building assets that'll generate the income to buy it later, comfortably, down the road.
That's smart. Delay the fun stuff and focus on building a strong financial foundation first.
Exactly. It's about setting yourself up for long-term success. And that leads us to, the book's dive into passive income. Ever thought about making money while you sleep?
Sounds pretty amazing. Tell me more about this passive income magic.
Passive income is basically money that keeps it coming in even when you're not actively working for it.
That sounds like the holy grail of financial freedom.
Yeah, it is. The author tells a story about the first time he made money while sleeping and how it totally blew his mind. He says passive income is like variable, meaning the amount can change. It's recurring, so it keeps coming. It's scalable, so you can grow it. It's delegable, so you can get other people to help. And hopefully it's something you enjoy.
All those things sound great, but is it really possible for everyone to achieve passive income?
Look, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but the book says it's possible if you have the right mindset, the right strategy, and if you put in the work.
So it's not winning the lottery. It's about creating systems that work for you over time.
Yep, exactly. And that brings us to another big idea: compound interest.
Compound interest. They call it the eighth wonder of the world, but I'll be honest, I still don't totally get it.
It can be a bit mind-bending, but the book uses some cool analogies to make it clearer. Have you heard the folded paper one?
No, what's that?
Imagine you fold a piece of paper in half, and then in half again and again. If you could fold it like 50 times, it would reach the sun.
No.
It's just like compound interest. Even small amounts invested over time can grow like crazy.
So it's not just how much you invest, but how long you keep it invested.
Exactly. Time is your best friend when it comes to compound interest. The sooner you start, the more time your money has to grow.
That makes sense. And didn't the book also use that chessboard and rice story to explain it?
Yeah, it's a classic. This wise guy asks for 1 grain of rice on the first square of a chessboard, 2 on the next, 4 on the next, and keeps doubling it.
That's got to add up pretty quickly, right?
You bet. By the last square, you need more rice than exists in the whole world. It shows how small amounts over time can lead to huge results.
Wow, I'm getting it now. So the book also talks about financial freedom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it defines it as being able to live for a while without working.
Exactly. It's not just about being rich. It's about having the security and flexibility to choose how you spend your time.
It's about options and not being stuck in a job just to pay the bills.
Right. And the book says this is especially important in case of emergencies or unexpected stuff that happens in life.
It's like having a safety net, that cushion of tranquility the book talks about.
Right. And this is where that cathedral story comes back. Just like the guy planned and built that cathedral, step by step, financial freedom takes planning, dedication, and patience.
It's like laying those bricks, one at a time, until you have something solid that can handle anything.
Exactly. The cathedral was a safe place for people, and financial freedom gives you security and peace of mind.
I love that analogy. It's a great way to explain it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the book also talks about this financial thermostat thing. What's that all about?
It's like an internal setting that keeps your finances at a certain level subconsciously.
So if we want to change our financial situation, we have to adjust our thermostat.
Exactly. But that's more than just getting a raise or cutting expenses. It's about changing how you think and feel about money.
Ah, it's about rewiring your money mindset.
You got it. And that brings us to this whole idea of reprogramming your money blueprint.
Reprogramming. Okay, I'm ready for an upgrade. How do we do that?
The book uses a fruit tree analogy to explain the connection between our thoughts, beliefs, and how our finances turn out.
Okay, I like a good analogy. Tell me more.
Imagine wanting to change the fruit a tree grows. You can't just paint the fruit a different color. You got to change the roots.
So our beliefs about money are like the roots of our financial tree.
Right. If you want different financial results, those are the fruits. You got to change your beliefs. Those are the roots.
It's like getting to the core of how you think about money and pulling out those limiting beliefs that are holding you back.
Exactly. And to help with that transformation, the book offers some practical tools.
Okay, hit me with those tools. What are they?
First, analyze your income and expenses. It's about seeing where your money is actually going and figuring out where you can save more or invest better.
It's about making those unconscious spending habits conscious.
Exactly.
Okay.
Then there's creating a budget, a plan for using your money wisely, and making sure you're focusing on your financial goals.
Budgeting can help you stay on track, but I know it can feel limiting to some people.
I hear you. The book says find a budgeting system that works for you, your own way of doing it.
So it's about finding a structure that helps you reach your goals without feeling like you're constantly depriving yourself.
Right. Next is tracking your income and expenses. Write down every euro that comes in and goes out. That'll give you a real picture of your financial habits.
It's like holding yourself accountable for every financial choice you make.
Exactly. Then there's practicing abundance habits. It's about doing things that support financial well-being.
Give me some examples of these abundance habits.
Things like being grateful for what you have, visualizing your goals, and surrounding yourself with positive people.
So it's not just about actions. It's about creating a feeling of abundance inside yourself.
You got it. And finally, build your Team A.
Okay, Team A. Who are they and how do we recruit them?
Think of it as your financial support system, a group of advisors and experts who can help you along the way. Accountants, lawyers, financial advisors, mentors, even friends and family who know their stuff.
I don't have to go it alone, right?
Nope. Building a team of people you trust can help you navigate the tricky parts of personal finance and make better choices.
Teamwork makes the dream work. It's all about using the knowledge and support of everyone.
Exactly. And the book stresses getting advice from experts, especially for complicated financial stuff.
So instead of trying to DIY everything, it's okay to call in the pros when you need to.
Right. It's about being responsible and proactive with your money.
Whoa, we've covered a lot. Financial illiteracy, Team A, everything in between. I'm feeling pumped, but also a little overwhelmed. Like, where do we even start?
One step at a time. The book lays out a pretty clear path. Start with your why. What do you want to achieve? What does financial freedom mean to you?
Right. What are we actually working towards? What does that ideal life look like?
Exactly. Then track your income and expenses, create a budget and stick to it, get rid of bad debt, build that cushion of tranquility we talked about, and start investing in things that generate passive income.
It's a solid plan,
Yeah.
but it all starts with taking that first step.
Exactly. So based on what we've talked about today, what's one concrete thing you could do? What jumps out at you?
I think I need to take a closer look at where my money's going and see if I can make some changes. And I'm definitely feeling inspired to explore those passive income ideas.
Those are great starting points. Even small actions done consistently can lead to big results.
I like that. It's not about changing everything overnight. It's about making progress little by little.
Exactly. It's a journey, not a sprint.
Well, before we jump into part 2, I gotta say, this deep dive is already super empowering. It's amazing what we've uncovered.
Me too. It's packed with valuable insights. It's all about taking control of your finances and creating a life of abundance.
Exactly. But don't go anywhere yet, listeners, because we've got a lot more to explore in part 2 of this financial deep dive.
We'll be back soon to continue our journey toward financial freedom. Welcome back to our deep dive into financial freedom. We've laid some serious groundwork, understanding money, that abundance mindset, all that.
I'm still thinking about that monkey trap story.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much those scarcity thoughts can mess us up.
Yeah, that one sticks with you. So building on all that, the book gets into some real-world tactics for handling money stuff. First up, taxes.
Taxes, not exactly the most exciting topic, but I guess they're unavoidable, right?
A lot of people feel that way, but the author wants us to see taxes differently. He asks, are we really getting what we pay for?
Okay, now I'm curious. How should we be thinking about taxes?
He did some calculations, and it turns out in Spain, with the taxes we have, someone making an average salary works almost half the year just to pay taxes.
Half the year? That's a lot. I mean, I know taxes pay for important stuff like services and programs.
Of course. But he's saying we should think critically about how our tax money is being used. More transparency and accountability.
So don't just accept things blindly. Be informed and make sure our hard-earned money is actually benefiting society.
Exactly. It goes back to that idea of empowerment. Take charge of your finances and understand how things work.
It's about being financially smart, not just following the rules. Okay, let's switch gears to inflation. Prices going up, I get that much. But honestly, the whole thing kind of confuses me.
I get it. Inflation's a tricky subject. The book explains how inflation makes your money worth less over time. Like what you could buy with 100 euros 10 years ago costs way more now.
Yeah, that's true. So how does that affect our financial plans?
The book says inflation actually benefits people who use what he calls good debt. Debt that's used to buy things that increase in value, like real estate or investments.
Because when prices go up, the value of those things goes up too, right?
Right. But on the other hand, if you just save your money in a regular account, inflation eats away at its value.
So saving isn't enough. We need to make our money grow faster than inflation.
Exactly. And that brings us to interest. There's good interest and bad interest, and they can either help or hurt you.
Okay, break that down for me. What's the difference?
Good interest is what you earn on your investments, like dividends or interest from a savings account.
Right, making your money work for you.
Yep. Bad interest is what you pay on loans and debt, especially stuff that doesn't help you build wealth, like credit cards.
That makes sense, like those high-interest credit cards or loans for things that lose value over time.
Exactly. The book says high-interest debt can really hold you back. It's like trying to swim upstream. You're working so hard just to stay in place.
So we got to minimize that bad interest and get as much good interest as we can. Use debt strategically.
That's it. Make smart choices about when and how to use debt.
And that takes financial knowledge, understanding interest rates, how different types of debt work, all that stuff.
Totally. The more you know, the better you can navigate all this financial stuff. Speaking of which, the book talks about lending and borrowing money, especially with family and friends.
Yeah, that can be tricky. I've felt pressured to lend money before, even when I wasn't sure about it.
It happens. The book gives some good advice for those situations. Set clear boundaries and treat any loans like a business deal. Have clear repayment terms and write everything down.
So it protects both the relationship and your money.
Exactly. And be prepared for the possibility that you might not get the money back.
That's tough but true. Lending money can really strain relationships.
It can. The author says only lend what you can afford to lose, and if it makes sense, consider it a gift instead of a loan.
That takes the pressure off everyone.
Yeah. And the book also says, never co-sign a loan or be a guarantor for anyone.
Yeah, that's a big no-no. Because if they don't pay, you're responsible for the whole thing.
Right. It's a huge risk.
Not worth risking your own financial security for someone else's debt, no matter who they are.
I agree. Protect your future. So let's move on to another basic part of personal finance. Saving.
Saving. Sounds easy, but it can be really hard for a lot of people.
It's true. The book says saving is tough but super important for security and reaching your goals.
But it also challenges the traditional idea of saving, right? It quotes Robert Kiyosaki, who said, "Savers are losers."
Yeah, that's a bit provocative, but it's important to understand what he meant. Kiyosaki's not saying to spend recklessly. He's saying just putting money in a low-interest account isn't enough to build wealth, especially with inflation eating away at its value.
So don't just hoard cash. Make it work for you through investments that beat inflation.
Exactly. And the book says start that savings habit early, even with small amounts.
It's like building a financial muscle, right? Learning to delay gratification.
Exactly. The author says if you can't control your spending with small amounts, you'll probably struggle with larger amounts too.
It takes practice, like any skill.
Totally. And saving isn't just about hoarding money. It's about self-control, planning for the future, and building a solid foundation.
It's about security and knowing you have something to fall back on.
Exactly. The book suggests saving at least 10% of your income.
That 10% rule? It's a good guideline. But what about those unexpected expenses? Life throws curveballs all the time.
That's where your emergency fund comes in. Remember that cushion of tranquility we talked about?
Yeah. Having that safety net can really make a difference.
It can. The book recommends having 3 to 6 months of living expenses set aside in an account you can access easily.
Okay, 3 to 6 months. Got it. But saving is only part of it. What do we do with those savings to make them grow?
That's where investing comes in. And the book emphasizes that it's not gambling. It's a strategic way to build wealth.
But investing can be intimidating, especially if you don't know much about it.
Messy.
So many options, so many strategies. Where do you even start?
Totally understandable. The book gets that fear. But it says the less you know about investing, the riskier it is.
So the more knowledge you have, the less scary it becomes.
Exactly. The book says learn about different investment options, get professional advice if you need it, and think long term.
Approach it like you're learning and growing, not like you're trying to get rich quick.
Exactly. And choose investments that match your values and that you're actually interested in.
Because if you're passionate about what you're investing in, you're more likely to stick with it.
Exactly. And the book reminds us that building wealth takes time and patience. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
It's about the long game. So speaking of long term, the book talks about retirement. It seems so far away for some people, but I guess it's never too early to start thinking about it.
You're right. And the book says you don't have to retire at a certain age. You should have the freedom to choose when and how you retire.
It's about taking control of your future, not just following what everyone else does.
Exactly. And the book talks about micro-retirements, taking long breaks throughout your career to do things you love, recharge, and explore different paths.
That sounds amazing, like mini sabbaticals.
Right. It's saying you don't have to wait until the end of your career to enjoy life.
That's so cool. But practically speaking, how do we prepare financially for retirement? The book talks about pension plans, but it doesn't seem too enthusiastic about them.
Yeah, the author is skeptical of those traditional pension plans. He says they lack transparency, you don't have much control, and their returns can be unpredictable.
So what's the alternative?
He suggests taking a more active role, investing in things you have direct control over, like real estate or index funds.
I've heard of index funds. What are those again?
It's basically a type of mutual fund that tracks a market index, like the S&P 500. They give you diversification and usually have lower fees.
So instead of just relying on a pension plan, the book says take charge of your retirement savings and make smart choices.
Exactly. And it suggests investing at least another 10% of your income on top of the 10% you're saving.
So a 10 split 10% for savings, 10% for investments.
Aha!
I like it.
Okay, so we've got saving, investing, and retirement planning covered. What else is on the list?
Well, the book circles back to putting together your A-team, those trusted advisors who can help you on your financial journey.
Right, our financial superheroes.
Exactly. The book stresses getting expert advice, especially for complicated stuff like taxes, investments, and legal things. It's like having a financial pit crew, helping you navigate the course.
I like that. And the author says be proactive in finding qualified professionals who match your values and goals.
It's not just blindly following advice. It's about building a real relationship of trust.
Exactly. Remember, getting advice from an expert is a good thing. It's a sign of strength, not weakness.
It's about knowing you don't have to figure everything out on your own.
Totally. Okay, so building on that, the book goes into some practical tools and habits that can change how you think about money, starting with analyzing your income and expenses.
Right, like we talked about before, knowing where your money is going.
Exactly. The book has this whole process for tracking what you earn and spend, putting your spending into categories, and figuring out where you can save more or invest smarter.
It's about becoming more aware of your spending, making conscious choices.
Right. And the book says this can be really eye-opening. You might discover spending habits you didn't even realize you had.
Like seeing your financial self in a mirror.
Exactly. And that self-awareness is what helps you make positive changes.
So once you've got a grip on your spending, what's next?
Then it's about making a budget, a plan for how you use your money, and making sure it's going towards what you want to achieve.
We talked about budgeting before, but I'm curious about the book's approach.
The author wants us to see budgeting not as something that restricts you, but as a tool for freedom.
It's about taking control, making choices, instead of letting your spending control you.
Exactly. And the book says find a system that works for you, whatever that looks like.
No cookie-cutter solutions.
Right. The book gives examples, from old school pen and paper to fancy apps.
So find what fits your style.
Exactly. And once you've got your budget set up, the book says review it regularly to make sure you're staying on track.
It's about accountability and making adjustments as you go.
Exactly. The book suggests checking your budget at least monthly, maybe even more often. Make sure it still fits your goals in your life.
Okay, so we're analyzing our money, making a budget, tracking our spending. What other tools or habits are there?
The book talks about powerful habits that can change how you feel about money, starting with that abundance mindset we talked about.
We talked about it, but how do you actually cultivate it?
The book's got practical tips. Practice gratitude, focus on what you're good at, and surround yourself with positive people.
Change that inner voice from scarcity to abundance.
Yes, and that change in thinking can seriously impact your financial choices and what happens in your life.
I can see that. When you believe in abundance, you're more likely to take risks, go after your goals, and attract good things into your life.
Right. The book also says to challenge those negative beliefs about money and start using positive affirmations.
It's like rewriting your financial code.
Exactly. And that's a big part of achieving financial freedom. What other habits does the book talk about?
I'm all ears.
The author is a big believer in constant learning, especially about money.
So don't just learn the basics. Keep learning and expanding your knowledge.
Yes. Read books, go to seminars, listen to podcasts, talk to experts. Stay ahead of the game.
It's like investing in your financial education.
Exactly. He says, see learning as an opportunity, not a chore.
Because the more you know, the more confident you'll be with your money.
Absolutely. And speaking of confidence, the book talks about feeling worthy and deserving when it comes to money.
That's interesting. I think a lot of people struggle with that.
It's a common issue, and the book says we need to challenge those beliefs and embrace the idea that we deserve to be financially secure and successful.
Because if you don't believe you deserve it, you won't take the steps to get there.
Right. He gives tips for building self-worth, like taking care of yourself, celebrating your accomplishments, and being around supportive people.
It's about recognizing your own value and treating yourself with kindness.
Exactly. And that change inside can affect your financial situation too.
Okay, so we're embracing abundance, learning constantly, and working on our self-worth. What else can we do?
The book says get in the habit of giving back to things you care about.
That's powerful. It's about using what you have to make a positive impact.
Exactly. And he says giving back can actually boost your financial well-being. It makes you feel more grateful and abundant.
Like a positive feedback loop, right?
Yeah.
The more you give, the more you get back.
Exactly. The book says find ways to give that match your values, whether it's donating, volunteering, or supporting local businesses.
It's about using your resources to make a difference.
Right. And this connects to that idea of living consciously and aligning your actions with what you believe in.
Getting a life that's both financially and personally fulfilling.
Totally. And on the topic of purpose, the book talks about finding work that you love, something that uses your talents and skills.
Because when you're passionate about your work, you're more likely to succeed, which can lead to more abundance.
Exactly. He says don't just think of work as a way to make money. See it as a way to express yourself and grow as a person.
Find a career path that energizes you and lets you contribute to the world.
Right. He says explore different options, take risks, and follow your passions, even if it means stepping outside of your comfort zone.
Sometimes the best things are outside of our comfort zones.
Absolutely. He says financial abundance often comes as a result of chasing your passions and living a life with purpose.
It's about aligning your work with your values, making your life feel meaningful.
Exactly. And that sense of purpose can really fuel your financial success.
Okay, we're embracing abundance, learning, working on our self-worth, giving back, and following our passions. What else?
Now, the book gets into practical tips for handling your money every day, starting with being more aware of your spending habits.
We talked about tracking, but how do you become a more conscious spender?
The book says before you buy something, ask yourself, do I really need this? And does this help me reach my financial goals?
Those are good questions to ask yourself before you spend money.
They are. And he suggests waiting a while before you buy something big. Avoid those impulse buys.
That's a great idea. Sometimes you just need to step back and think about it.
Exactly. And speaking of avoiding bad decisions, the book's not a fan of credit cards.
Yeah, we talked about that. Credit card debt can be a nightmare.
It can. He recommends using debit cards or cash whenever you can. Stay within your budget and avoid that debt trap.
Be real about your finances and make responsible choices.
Exactly. He also says try to negotiate better deals whenever you can, whether it's for services, products, or even your salary.
Stand up for yourself and don't be afraid to ask for what you deserve.
That's it, and that can save you a lot of money in the long run.
Okay, so we're being mindful spenders, ditching the credit cards, and negotiating like pros. Any other practical tips?
He says focus on experiences, not just stuff.
That's a good point. Memories and experiences last longer than things you buy.
Exactly. He suggests spending your money on travel, learning new things, personal growth, and making memories with people you care about instead of buying a bunch of stuff that won't make you happy in the long run.
It's about valuing experiences more than material possessions.
Exactly. And that can lead to a more fulfilling life.
I like that a lot. It's about abundance in experiences and meaning, not just material things.
Absolutely. And speaking of abundance, he says practice gratitude for what you have.
We talk about gratitude, but how does it affect our finances?
The book says being grateful can actually boost your financial well-being.
Really? How did that work?
He says when you focus on what you have, not what you lack, it shifts your energy and attracts more good stuff into your life.
Appreciate what you have and recognize the good things in your life.
Exactly. He suggests keeping a gratitude journal, saying thank you to people, and just taking time each day to appreciate what you have.
Okay, we're practicing gratitude, prioritizing experiences, and being mindful spenders.
Yeah.
What else can we do?
He says get comfortable talking about money with yourself and others.
That's an interesting one. I think a lot of people see money as this taboo topic.
That's true. And he says that makes people stay financially ignorant and keeps them from getting help when they need it.
So how do we make it less taboo?
He says start by talking openly with friends or family about your financial goals, your struggles, what you're trying to achieve.
Create a safe space to share your financial journey and learn from each other.
Exactly. And he says find mentors or advisors who can give you guidance and support.
Sometimes an outside perspective can really help you see things more clearly.
Totally. And talking openly about money leads to greater awareness and empowerment.
Okay, we're talking about money, practicing gratitude, and prioritizing experiences. Anything else?
He says get in the habit of paying yourself first.
Paying yourself first, what does that even mean?
It means putting some of your income into savings and investments before you pay any other bills or expenses.
So make your own financial well-being a priority.
Exactly. The author says this habit helps you build a solid foundation and reach your goals faster.
Treat your savings and investments like they're the most important bills.
Exactly. He suggests setting up automatic transfers to your savings and investment accounts.
Automated, that's a great idea. Take the thinking out of it.
It is. And that one habit can make a big difference over time.
Okay, we're paying ourselves first, talking about money, and embracing abundance. Any other habits?
The book says celebrate your wins no matter how big or small.
That's important. It's easy to get caught up in the chase and forget to appreciate how far you've come.
It's true. He suggests taking time to appreciate your accomplishments, like paying off debt, hitting a savings target, or making a smart investment.
Acknowledge your efforts and recognize your progress.
Exactly. Those celebrations can help you stay motivated and reinforce good money habits.
Okay, so we're celebrating, paying ourselves first, and thinking abundantly. What else?
The book says look at challenges as opportunities to grow and learn.
That's a good way to look at it. It's easy to get discouraged by setbacks.
It is, but the book reminds us that challenges are part of any journey, especially with money.
See setbacks as lessons, not failures.
Exactly. He says be curious about your challenges and learn from your mistakes.
Resilience and perseverance are key.
They are. And the book emphasizes taking action, don't let fear stop you.
It's easy to overthink things and end up doing nothing.
It's true. The author says be bold, take calculated risks, and trust your gut.
Embrace the unknown and step out of your comfort zone.
Exactly. He says you often learn the most by doing, even if you don't do it perfectly.
Don't let perfectionism stop you.
Right. And sometimes that proactive approach can lead to amazing opportunities.
Okay, we're taking action, celebrating our wins, and seeing challenges as learning experiences. Anything else we should be doing?
The book says be patient and persistent. Financial freedom takes time.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Right?
Exactly. The author reminds us that there will be ups and downs. Stay focused on the long term and don't get discouraged by temporary setbacks.
Believe in yourself and your ability to achieve your goals.
Exactly. Celebrate the small wins and focus on making progress, not being perfect.
Acknowledge your efforts, one step at a time.
Right. And on the topic of milestones, the book talks about owning a home, something a lot of people want to achieve.
Yeah, owning a home, having your own space.
It's a big goal for many. The book looks at both the good and the bad sides of home ownership.
So it's not saying you should or shouldn't buy a house. It's about making an informed choice.
Exactly. He says to think carefully about the financial side of owning a home, the mortgage, property taxes, maintenance, all that.
Do your research and make sure it fits your financial goals and your lifestyle.
Exactly. He also says consider other options, like renting or investing in rental properties, if those are better for you.
Find what feels right for you, both financially and personally.
Right. There's no one right answer. It's a personal decision.
Okay, so we've talked about homeownership, celebrating wins, and taking action.
What else?
The book says be careful about the financial advice you get and learn as much as you can about money.
That's so important. There's so much information out there. How do you know what to trust?
It's tricky, and he says don't just blindly follow advice, even if it's from someone you think knows what they're talking about.
So how do we become financially literate and make good decisions? He says read books, go to seminars, listen to podcasts, talk to financial experts, keep learning.
Become financially savvy, not just someone who follows the rules.
Exactly. He also says, question what you hear, think critically about financial information, and get different perspectives.
Take charge of your own financial education.
Yes, and that will help you make good choices that are right for you.
Okay, we're learning, celebrating, taking action. Anything else?
He says, have a plan for your money, even when unexpected things happen.
That's important. Life's full of surprises.
It is. He suggests making a financial emergency plan. What would you do if you lost your job, had a medical emergency, or if there was a natural disaster?
Have that safety net ready.
Exactly. And he says, have enough insurance to protect yourself from financial loss.
Manage those risks and be prepared for the unexpected.
Exactly. Being proactive like this can give you peace of mind.
Okay, so we have a plan, we're learning, and we're celebrating. Anything else?
He says, think of money as a tool to create the life you want, not the goal itself.
That's a great way to think about it.
It is. It's a resource to help you live the life you dream of.
It's not about chasing money. It's about using it to support your values and build a fulfilling life.
Exactly. And he emphasizes that true wealth encompasses more than just money.
It's about having a balanced and fulfilling life with strong relationships, good health, and a sense of purpose.
Right. It's about having abundance in all areas of your life.
I like that. It's not just about money. It's about living a rich and meaningful life.
And speaking of living a meaningful life, the book talks about the importance of aligning our financial goals with our values.
So our money choices should reflect what we believe in.
Exactly. He says, ask yourself, does this purchase support my values? Does it align with who I am and what I want to achieve?
It's about being conscious consumers, making choices that align with our principles.
Right. And it might mean making different choices than what society tells us we should be doing.
Sometimes it's about going against the grain, making choices that feel right for us, even if they're not the mainstream choices.
Exactly. It's about having integrity and living in alignment.
I like that a lot. It's about living a life that feels authentic.
And he also says, don't be afraid to redefine what success means to you.
Because success isn't just about money, right? It's about so much more than that.
Right. It's about finding fulfillment, happiness, and making a positive impact on the world.
It's about living a life that feels meaningful and purposeful.
Exactly. And that's what financial freedom ultimately allows us to do.
It's about having the resources and the freedom to create the life we truly desire.
And he reminds us that this journey is personal and unique.
There's no one right way to achieve financial freedom.
Exactly. It's about finding what works for you, your values, your goals, your life.
And he encourages us to enjoy the journey.
Don't get so caught up in the destination that you forget to appreciate the present moment.
Be present, celebrate the small wins, and embrace the challenges as opportunities for growth.
Exactly. It's about creating a life that feels abundant and fulfilling every step of the way. Welcome back to our deep dive. We've been through a lot, haven't we? All these ideas about money, it's really got me thinking.
It's been pretty mind-blowing, especially that whole thing about how our mindset and beliefs affect our money situation.
Yeah, it's all connected, isn't it? It's not just about the numbers.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the final takeaway? What does the book say about putting all this knowledge into practice?
The book says, figure out what financial freedom really means to you. It's about designing a life that feels good, that's full of abundance, and that fits your values and dreams.
I love that. It's personal, right? Financial freedom isn't the same for everyone.
Exactly. So how do we figure out our own version of it? The book says, start by picturing your ideal life.
Ooh, I like that. Close your eyes and imagine, if money was no object, what would your life look like? What would you do? Where would you live?
Right. Get a clear picture in your mind. And then start turning those dreams into actual financial goals.
So take those big dreams and break them down into steps.
Yep. And the book says to make them SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. It's about making your goals clear and doable.
Right. Saying I want to be rich is way less effective than I want to save $10,000 for a down payment in 2 years.
I get it. A clear goal gives you something to focus on,
Exactly. And once you've got those goals, the book says make a plan to get there.
like a roadmap for your money.
Exactly. Your plan might include ways to save, invest, pay off debt, even create passive income.
It's a plan for your whole financial well-being.
You got it. And the book says remember to review and update your plan. Things change. Your plan needs to be flexible.
So it's not set in stone. It's about adapting as you go.
Right. Stay engaged with your finances. Make adjustments as needed.
Okay, so we've got the vision, the goals, the plan. How do we stay motivated and on track?
The book says surround yourself with supportive people.
Oh yeah, that's so important. The people you hang out with influence your thinking and your habits.
Big time. The book says find mentors, join groups, connect with people who have similar goals.
Build your support system.
Exactly. And be mindful of the people closest to you. Their money habits and attitudes rub off on you.
Yeah, negativity and scarcity thinking can be contagious.
They can. Surround yourself with people who inspire you and support your growth.
Choose your circle wisely.
Exactly. And don't forget to celebrate your wins, big or small.
We talked about that, right? Acknowledge those wins, keep that motivation going.
Right. Reward yourself when you hit a milestone, whether it's a nice dinner, a weekend trip, or just some time for yourself.
Take a moment to appreciate what you've accomplished.
Exactly. Make positive connections with money. Make the journey enjoyable.
Because sometimes personal finance can feel kind of heavy.
It can. Make it a positive experience.
All right, so we're defining our vision, setting goals, making a plan, building a community, and celebrating along the way. Any last bits of wisdom from the book?
The book reminds us that financial freedom is a journey, not a destination.
It's about the process, right? Enjoy the ride, learn and grow as you go.
Exactly. Be patient, be persistent, keep going, and you'll see amazing results.
Believe in yourself and your ability to build that abundant life.
I love that. And remember, the journey is often the best part.
That's beautiful. Wow, I'm leaving this deep dive feeling super inspired and ready to take action.
Me too. It's been a pleasure exploring all these ideas with you.
And to our listeners, thanks for diving deep with us. Remember, it's not just about the money. It's about creating a life that's truly rich and meaningful. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.